Hello, it's me James, and welcome back to another episode of Simply Survival. This is the series where I like to show you tips, tricks, and tutorials, and of course, I like to do this in complete survival. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the top 5 fast but simple farms that you need in your survival world. With that being said, let's jump straight on into it. For fast farm number 1, we have got this simple but very fast sugar cane farm. And actually, this farm doesn't just produce sugar cane, and you don't need to make it this big. You can actually make a much smaller version of this farm. As you can see, this is essentially exactly the same as the big farm that you just saw, and you wouldn't need to just run sugar cane on that farm. No, you can actually mix and match. Now, if you're on the big farm, I would tend to stick to bamboo or sugarcane. However, on these small farms, you are going to get so much more than just bamboo and sugarcane. As I've already mentioned, you're going to get sugarcane and bamboo. If you use wheat seeds, you're going to be able to get wheat. You can grow sweet berries on this farm. You can grow big drip leaves. If you grow beetroot seeds, of course, you're going to get beetroots if you really want. Using the pitcher pod and the torch flower seeds, you can get both the pitcher plant and the torch flower plant. I mean, pretty good, right? Not only that, you're going to be able to get pink petals as well. I almost forgot potatoes. And of course, you can get carrots, but I've just got no carrots on me at the minute. But yeah, you can see just how much stuff you can grow on this farm. Now, unfortunately, some things that you can grow on this farm are not going to be fully automatic. You're going to have to plant them yourself a little bit like this, and obviously wait for them to grow. Either way, this is extremely fast in getting a hell of a bunch of crops and flowers and stuff like that. However, remember, the bamboo and sugarcane is going to be 100% AFK, so you can just stand around and wait for the stuff to grow. And I know what some of you are thinking, James, this farm is terrible because you need too much bone meal. Well, do not worry, guys, because this next farm that I'm about to show you is going to give you an infinite source of bone meal and other stuff as well. And remember, if you want to build the big version of this farm or the small version of this farm, full tutorials of those can be located in the description below. On to the next one. Next on the list, we have this extremely OP and fast 0-tick kelp farm. I've got this set up so I can have an infinite source of fuel. This is going to infinitely produce dried kelp blocks for me, so I can use this for any fuel requirements I need, or I can simply fuel this farm on its own. Not only that, but I've got this farm set up so I can produce an infinite amount of bone meal as well. I can actually set up another composter to make even more bone meal come from this farm. Right now, I've just got this very basic setup. As you can see, the kelp goes through here, and we get ourselves a nice little bit of bone meal. And remember, kelp blocks are not just good for fuel. If you have these villagers set up, butcher villagers, you can actually trade kelp blocks for emeralds. So essentially, you've got a source of unlimited emeralds as well. Now, fair warning, if you choose to use this farm, this is most definitely a glitch farm. You do not need any fuel to grow that kelp. Some people will completely refuse to use this because it is too OP and too glitchy. Me personally, because the entire thing is just basically fueled from redstone, I don't actually mind using it in my world, but technically speaking, it is a dupe farm. You could also expand or make this thing a little bit smaller, although personally, I think this is the perfect size. Another recommended tip, if you did decide you wanted to build this farm, I would always try and keep this inside a chunk. But for what it's worth, I've had people, including myself, test this on a chunk border, and it seems to be okay. But it is always best to keep it inside a chunk. And if you're running this farm, I would always recommend AFKing near it. I mean, I wouldn't leave the area just in case it breaks, but for the most part, you should be good. Once again, I've got a full detailed tutorial on how you can build this exact farm. The only thing I've added, which is not in the tutorial, is this. But all this is a composter with, yeah, going down to a chest. It is as simple as that. Let's jump on to number 3. For you to get a good representation of how fast this next farm is, I'm going to die and lose 193 levels. So, we go back to 0. And now I'm on 0 levels. But I'm not worried because this next farm is going to absolutely stack me out on XP. Now, this is the farm in question. This is actually a slightly bigger version that I expanded of the original version. The original one was just like one of the composters, but I've added 3, so this is absolutely OP. It is also a little bit laggy, so fair caution if you choose to build this as well. This farm also relies on splash potion of infestation. However, thankfully, this is nice and cheap to make in game. To start this farm, I'm simply going to place down 3 cactuses underneath the composters. I'm then going to turn on the farm first. And then I'm going to throw a splash potion in this corner and a splash potion in this corner. This will absolutely cause an avalanche of XP. And just look how fast my levels are going up. 0 to 30 levels in, seconds. Now, obviously, you can hear this is incredibly loud as well. So, what I'm going to do is stand all the way over here and go and collect the XP at the end. Right, it's still going. I had to move a little bit further back because some of the XPs were coming over to me. Each time you throw a splash potion onto this farm, you're going to get 3 minutes worth of XP rain, if that's what you want to call it. I don't really know. It is absolutely insane. You can see it's essentially raining XP. So yeah, you're going to get around about 3 minutes of XP rain from each splash potion. And as you can see, we are around about coming to the end now. Let's go here and see how much XPs we've managed to acquire. Oh my god. There is so many! 80 XPs. And then if you come closer, you can get some out of here as well. Oh, it's still going. We'll just wait for this little bit to finish. Alright, sweet. It's finally finished and I got 85 levels. How insane is that? Now, of course, I don't want to have to listen to this all the time in my world. So I'm just going to remove this until the next time I use it. But this farm is absolutely insane. Most of the time, when there's a farm this overpowered in the game, Mojang normally remove it or nerf it massively. So if you haven't got a system like this or this system in your world, what are you waiting for? Seriously need to build it right now. I'll put a tutorial of the big and the small version of the XP farm in the description below in case you do want to build it. Next on the list is a must-have in any survival world. This is the OP gold farm. Now you can build this with 2 portals, with 1 portal, or even 4 portals. I mean, you could do 3 portals as well if you want, but yeah, I was just saying some numbers. Either way, even if you've just got 1 portal, this thing is absolutely insane. This thing kills the pigs fast and efficiently, allowing you to get so much loot, including golden ingots, golden nuggets, golden swords that are enchanted, and also rotten flesh. The only downside to this farm is it is incredibly loud, so I am going to turn it off temporarily just while making this video. For the amount of time it takes you to set up this farm and the amount of loot that you get back, it is definitely worth it. Now, not only do you get all of the swords, the zombie flesh, and the gold, but you also get a bunch of XP as well. Just from a few seconds, I went up 1 level. But if I AFK'd a lot longer, I would get a lot more levels. This, of course, allows me to fix up my tools and stuff like that. But to be honest, as far as levels go, I'm set with the previous farm. Now, you can also use a grindstone with these enchanted swords to get yourself even more levels. However, I just find that a little bit long, so I just throw them out most of the time. And the rotten flesh is not completely useless either. You can actually use this in the next farm. Now, this farm might be last, but it is most definitely fast. Alright, that sounded a lot better in my head, but this is the raid trade station. But what exactly makes this farm so good? Well, as you can see, you can literally stand around AFK and essentially complete a raid meaning you literally don't even have to do any fighting. This farm does all the fighting for you. And once you have completed the raid, you will be awarded the Hero of the Village effect. This will last for 40 minutes. Now, not only are we going to get the Hero of the Village effect, but we are going to get so much loot from this farm. This farm is essentially an unlimited emerald farm. You're going to get a bunch of totems of undying, meaning, yeah, essentially, you can't die if you use this farm. You're going to get gunpowder, redstone, and glowstone dust. Oh, yeah, and sugar, arrows, spider's eyes, miscellaneous tools, and armor. You're also going to be able to get stuff like saddles and enchanted books. Some of the enchanted books you can get are so OP, like Frostwalker 2. And this one, look at it. You got 4 different enchants on one book. You can also get enchanted books like Mending and Unbreaking from this farm. However, you don't even have to wait for it to be dropped from the loot. You can actually set up some villagers to trade with at the bottom of this farm. So, whilst you're AFK in the farm, you could literally be trading Mending books with all the emeralds you've just got from this farm. And remember, we've got Hero of the Village on. This is going to give us some really nice discount. Now, I've only got one villager set up here at the moment, but you could take this a step further. Like, you could set up different villagers selling different stuff. For example, I've got some selling diamond tools and diamond armor. You could also make clerk villagers, and if you did, you could sell the rotten flesh that we made on the gold farm earlier for emeralds, meaning this has got another way to get us emeralds. You could also set up some shepherds, allowing you to buy beds for a very cheap price. You could use these to go nether mining and get yourself some ancient debris. There are so many different trades you could set up to benefit yourself to get loads and loads of different stuff. But for each different trading villager, you're of course gonna need a villager. Now, me personally, I have a breeding station down here. So, I do all of my breeding, and then I bring villagers to the farm down here. Or in my case, I've only bought this one villager at the moment. Now, even though I have that set up, I'm pretty sure you could potentially do some breeding down here. But the only reason I do that is just to be safe. If anything does go wrong down here, which, I mean, it's Minecraft, it always can. At least I've got 2 safe villagers down there. Not only is this resource friendly, but I would say this is pretty fast to build as well. When you do have it set up, the loot is gonna come so fast. So fast, in fact, that I actually need to add some more chests because, literally, I'm nearly full. I can literally run this one more time, maybe. Don't be like me. Add some more chests so you don't have to keep emptying it. Now, as you may have noticed throughout the video, the majority of the farms run on trident killers. You are going to want to use a looting 3 sword to get even more loot from each of those farms. Well, the gold farm and the raid farm anyway. And being as these farms use so many tridents, I'm going to show you a very quick trick on how you can get full durability tridents, and a lot of them fast as well. First of all, grab yourself one of these shells, find a drowned with a trident, lure the drowned into a safe space and throw your shell at the drowned. It will then drop the trident it was holding, and you will get a full durability trident. Afterwards, you can kill the drowned and get your shell back, essentially getting yourself a free trident. Rinse and repeat this method, and you'll have as many tridents as you need for all of the farms seen in today's video. But there we have it. There are my top 5 fast but simple farms you need in your survival world. That, my friends, is all I've got time for today. I'll catch you guys on the next one.